Hey man, let's get brutally honest for a minute. If you've ever had your heart broken, your ego crushed, or your sense of self ripped apart by a woman, this is for you. I don't say this out of bitterness, and I'm not here to bash women. I say this as a man who's been through the emotional meat grinder and came out the other side with clarity. And that clarity is simple: never take a woman too seriously. Not her words, not her moods, not even her intentions, until they've been proven over time, consistently, without theatrics. Because the moment you take her too seriously is the moment you forget who you are. You stop being the man, and you start becoming the boy, seeking approval, chasing connection, drowning in her emotional tides. And when that happens, you lose your power. Women are incredible. They're beautiful, intuitive, nurturing, mysterious. But they are not anchors. They are waves, fluid, emotional, changeable. One day she wants you, the next she's confused. One week she calls you her soulmate, the next she needs space. That's not evil, it's emotional nature. It's what makes her feminine. But here's the trap. When you as a man expect consistency from a force designed for movement, you'll always end up disappointed. Because the moment you believe everything she says as gospel, the moment you assume her affection is a contract, it's already over. You've handed her the script, the direction, and the keys to your self-worth. You've got to stop assigning permanent meaning to temporary feelings. That late night "I miss you" text, it's not a proposal, it's probably loneliness or boredom. That smile across the room, it's not a promise, it's a spark. And if you build castles in your head off of those fleeting gestures, you're setting yourself up for emotional bankruptcy. Real masculine strength is about discernment, knowing when to engage and when to stay grounded, when to enjoy the moment and when to detach from the illusion. Because when a man takes a woman too seriously too fast, he forfeits his frame. And once your frame is gone, so is your power. This isn't about becoming cold or heartless. This is about emotional discipline. It's about refusing to let your sense of identity be hijacked by her validation. It's about never confusing her interest with investment. You're not there to chase breadcrumbs. You're not there to decode mixed signals. You're there to observe, to lead, to stay centered while she spins in emotional currents. Because if you chase her moods, you'll drown in them. But if you hold your frame, she'll respect you, even if she doesn't say it out loud. That respect is what matters. That's what makes her feel safe, drawn in, magnetized. Most guys don't realize how easily they give themselves away. She laughs at your joke, and you're already daydreaming about a relationship. She compliments your shirt, and now you're texting her like she owes you affection. That's not strength. That's emotional desperation, dressed up as romance. You've got to learn to slow down, to let her reveal herself over time. Words mean nothing without consistency. Flirtation means nothing without effort. And attention, that's just surface level noise until it turns into sustained investment. Stop handing out your seriousness to anyone who bats her eyelashes. That's not love. That's emotional negligence. If you've ever been ghosted, blindsided, or betrayed by a woman you thought was different, chances are you took her too seriously too soon. You built a fantasy in your head and called it reality. You ignored the red flags because you were drunk on potential. You listened to her words instead of watching her actions, and now you're left with questions she'll never answer. That's the price you pay when you place your peace in her hands. But here's the truth. Your peace should never be negotiable. Your emotions should never be reactive. You are not a puppet on the strings of her attention. You want to win with women? Learn to enjoy the moment without making it mean something. Learn to engage without attaching. Learn to listen without overanalyzing. That takes strength. That takes mastery. And most importantly, that takes a man who knows who he is, with or without her. Because when you stop needing her to validate you, you start becoming magnetic. Not because you're playing games, but because you're not playing at all. You're living, you're building, you're centered. And from that place of grounded, masculine energy, you naturally attract the feminine without chasing it. Taking a woman too seriously is often just a mask for emotional dependency. You want her to complete you. You want her to heal you. You want her to make the pain go away. But she can't. That's not her job. That's yours. And until you learn to sit with your own emotions, to master your own inner world, you'll always seek in her what you lack in yourself. That's why so many men end up broken. Not because she was cruel, but because he made her his God. He worshipped at the altar of her attention and called it love. That's not love, that's slavery. Look, man, women are emotional creatures. That's not a flaw, that's their power. But it also means that their feelings are often fleeting, their words driven by the moment. And if you start interpreting every look, every text, every flirtatious comment as a contract, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. Real men don't get caught up in interpretation. They observe patterns, they look for consistency, they trust action over affection, and above all, they keep their emotions sovereign, because the second you become emotionally available on demand, you become disposable. You don't need to be cold, but you do need to be clear. You don't need to be distant, but you do need to be discerning. You don't need to be rude, but you absolutely need to be rooted in yourself, because clarity is power. The kind of power that doesn't flinch when she pulls away. The kind that doesn't crumble when she goes silent. The kind that doesn't spiral when she says, "I need time." That's the kind of power that commands respect, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. Never forget, women test you, not always consciously, but they test to feel your strength. They test to see if you'll break. They test to know if they can trust your frame. So when you take her every word as truth, every emotion as final, every mood swing as gospel, you fail the test, because you're showing her that your reality bends to hers, that your peace depends on her emotional state. And no woman respects a man who can't hold his own reality. You've got to be the anchor, the calm in the chaos, the lighthouse, not the ship. Stop seeking reassurance from women. Stop needing closure. Stop interpreting silence as a crisis. Your masculine edge is found in your ability to hold discomfort without reaction. If she pulls away, let her. If she tests you, pass with detachment. If she plays games, don't play back, exit the arena. Because the more stoic you become in the face of her emotional volatility, the more grounded you become in your masculine essence. And that essence is what makes you powerful, not the validation she gives, but the validation you no longer need. Taking a woman seriously before she's earned that place in your life is like handing over the throne to someone who hasn't proven loyalty, and no kingdom survives like that. You are the king of your life, and kings don't beg. Kings don't chase. Kings don't crown every woman who walks into the castle. They observe, they evaluate, they protect their throne. And only the woman who moves with honor, who brings peace, not drama, is given the crown of commitment. Until then, she's just a guest, not royalty. So many men fall into the trap of romanticizing early affection. She gives you attention, and suddenly she's the one. You ignore the inconsistencies. You justify the disrespect. You over-invest in a fantasy she never agreed to. And when she changes, when she pulls back, when she leaves, you're shattered. But she didn't change, brother. She revealed herself. You just weren't paying attention. You were too busy projecting your hopes onto her presence. And that's what it means to take her too seriously. You see what you want, not what's real. A man who's serious about his purpose doesn't get derailed by female attention. He doesn't shift his path for a pretty face. He doesn't trade his peace for passion. He knows that attraction is common, but connection is rare, and respect, even rarer. That kind of man doesn't fall easily. He doesn't chase chaos. He doesn't feed on drama. He walks with clarity, and he lets time reveal who's real, because any woman can smile. Any woman can flirt. But only a real one can match words with consistent effort. Stop giving your seriousness away just because she shows interest. Stop building dreams on day one attraction. Stop putting your future in the hands of someone who hasn't even earned your trust. You've got to treat your seriousness like sacred ground. Only the worthy should stand there. Only the consistent. Only the ones who choose you. Not just when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient. That's how you build a life with someone. Not with promises, but with patterns. And if she doesn't like your detachment, if she says you're too calm, too hard to read, too unbothered, good. That means you're doing it right. That means you're not another pawn. That means you're not another emotionally available man. She can manipulate with silence or seduce with fake crisis. You're not her therapist. You're not her emotional sponge. You're a man, and your stability is your gift. Never forget that. Your emotional detachment is not cruelty. It's control. It's self-respect. It's knowing that no woman, no matter how stunning or seductive, gets to own your soul without earning it. That's the difference between a man and a boy. A boy gives everything up front. A man gives it slowly, intentionally, deliberately, because he values himself too much to gamble his heart on a guess. That's the kind of man who wins. So trust me when I say this. Never take a woman too seriously until she proves herself over time, until her words align with action, until her presence brings peace, until her energy feeds your mission, not distracts you from it. Until then, stay grounded, stay focused, stay sharp. Let her earn the right to be taken seriously. And in the meantime, you lead, you build, you live, you become the man you were born to be. Not for her, not for validation, but because it's who you are. And from that place of power, from that foundation of masculine strength, you'll attract the kind of woman who doesn't demand your seriousness. She earns it.